And yeah, I'll say it was true. Okay, it was true.
On the Las Vegas Raiders Rundown, we finally learn about the relationship between Davante Adams, Aaron Rodgers, and Derek Carr. Did Rodgers help him get here? How far back does this really go? Jason Simmons hypes up Johnathan Abram, Duron Harmon, and Amik Robertson. Kennedy Polamalu talks about his running back room, Josh Jacobs, Zamir White, and Branden Bolden. And one Raiders beat reporter seems to be obsessed with Jack Del Rio. All of this and more will be covered on the Raiders Rundown, so make sure you like this video, subscribe to the Raiders Rundown for more content, and ring the bell to get notifications. Let's get right into it. Davante Adams was quite frank in his press conference today. He pretty much said, "I'm going to tell you the complete truth about everything that happened with this Green Bay Packers trade." He straight up told us that Green Bay offered him more money. I was shocked that he straight up said that.
You know, you guys have heard Green Bay offered this, which is higher than what I was, and all of that. And yeah, I'll say it was true. Okay, it was true. But like I said, there's much more that goes into it.
What's even crazier is Aaron Rodgers might have helped Davante Adams become a Raider.
I was in the conversations with him. We had, many heart-to-hearts. And ultimately, he felt like he wanted to be in Las Vegas. Asked me to help him get there. In the end, it was, the only option in his mind, and then that's what he wanted.
A lot of people try to push back against this and say that there's no chance this happened, that Aaron Rodgers lost Davante Adams against his will. But I think he let Davante Adams pursue his dream of being a Las Vegas Raider. You heard Davante Adams say that he loves being a Raider. He loves coming to work every day, and obviously he wants to play with his best friend Derek Carr. Speaking of best friend Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr have had a relationship for a long time. In 2021, you could see some clips where Derek Carr really talks about how Aaron Rodgers is the closest friend in terms of another quarterback on another team that he's had throughout his whole career.
Easy, but one of the guys I talked to the most probably Aaron. Aaron.
Is that right?
Yeah, since I came up in the league, he's always been someone I could reach out to. He gave me his number. He said, if you need anything ever. So we talk about defense coordinators, things like that change, and stuff that he's seen, guys he's played against more than I've played against, and he's always been there.
I'm happy for Derek. I've known Derek for a long time, and I enjoy keeping in touch with him.
I even was texting with Aaron Rodgers this morning. He's always been good to me since I came into the league. So Aaron, appreciate you, man.
I talk to him all the time, and I usually don't even say that. And so, but he's always been someone since I got in the NFL that has helped me with questions and things like that. He's always been good to me. We were talking today, and I won't get into what we got into, but he's always encouraging, and I'm thankful for that relationship. He's always, like I said, he's always been good to me, but I don't want to get into anything he said.
Now, how has Aaron Rodgers been a friend of Derek Carr for this long? Did it happen out of nowhere? No, this goes back even deeper. This goes back all the way to 2011, actually. David Carr, when at a Fresno State practice, talked about his relationship with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was complaining about showing up on draft night and not getting picked till way later.
I've had too many friends that have gone there after that. Aaron Rodgers, one of my good friends, that kind of sat there and waited. It all worked out great for him.
David Carr said that Aaron Rodgers talked to him about this and said that he's a really good friend. So we know in 2011 for sure, while Derek is at Fresno State, playing at Fresno State, Aaron Rodgers is friends with David Carr. So technically, the Carr family has been friends with Aaron Rodgers even before Davante Adams. Davante Adams did not join the Packers until 2014. That would be 3 years after the confirmed friendship between David Carr and Aaron Rodgers. So this is really crazy, and you got to think, Aaron Rodgers, did he sign off on this? Did he trick the Packers? Keep in mind, if Aaron Rodgers really wanted to keep Davante Adams, he wouldn't have signed a contract in which he would get paid $50 million a year. Obviously, there'd be no way that the Packers could afford Davante Adams unless Davante Adams took less money. Now, Davante Adams did confirm that the Packers did offer him more money than the Raiders technically. We don't know how much guaranteed money is in that. Maybe it was just a high cap hit for a few years, but clearly it seems like Aaron Rodgers helped colluded behind the scenes to help Davante Adams become a Raider, helped sign off on it, gave the Packers, his wishes, telling him that he thinks it would be okay. He wants Davante Adams to go and chase his dream, and that's why Davante Adams is a Raider today. And it was crazy to see Davante Adams put on the spot, asked to compare Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr.
Ooh, that's a tough question. I mean, it's tough to compare. It's really apples and oranges. Derek. I mean, it's just such a different ball game. I mean, obviously you have Aaron, who's cemented as one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. That's just like comparing me to like Jerry Rice. It'd be tough to do because Jerry's put together what he's done, and it's undeniable respect for him. And me, I'm still going, and there's still a lot that I got to do to be able to be mentioned with Jerry, and I'm aware of that, and I think Derek is also aware of that. From a big picture, but as far as talent and ability, I mean, it's really similar. If I'm keeping it real, Derek's arm strength and they throw the ball a lot different. Like Derek is gonna fire it in there, and you're gonna know that thing's coming quick. And Aaron's got the ability to just kind of tighten that core up and just flick the ball to you. So the release is a lot different. But having two guys like that with really strong arms and understand the game, and the mental part of it is another similarity that they have. Is they both obsess over it and they know everything that's going on out there. A lot of similarities, but much different. And I think Derek is in a position where he's chasing to be one of those all-time greats like that, which is, like I said, that's not a slight on Derek whatsoever. I wouldn't be here if I was slighting Derek, but I don't think that I'm ready to compare myself to Jerry Rice just yet. We'll see when it's all said and done, or after some more time. And I think the same is with Derek. We both chasing it and still got a lot in front of him.
And he didn't shy away from it, man. He was completely honest. He said, guess what? Aaron Rodgers is in a totally different place in his career compared to Derek Carr. He's a Hall of Famer for sure. Derek Carr is trying to get in the Hall of Fame. That's just straight up what it was. And I thought that was a perfect analogy to use Jerry Rice and Davante Adams as an analogy. Jerry Rice, you can't compare him to Davante Adams because we already know Jerry Rice is a Hall of Famer. Now, do I think Davante Adams can be a Hall of Famer? Yes, but he's not that yet. He still has plenty of football left in him and plenty of years ahead of him. The guy's in his freaking late 20s. I mean, come on. Jerry Rice played until he was 40 years old. So if he wants to reach the Jerry Rice level, he's got a lot more years ahead of him, over a decade ahead of him, right? And so it's pretty crazy to see him go further though, and later on not shy away from saying, look, they got similar skills, and Derek Carr is just as talented as Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this is basically what he said. He basically said, hey, he's just as accurate, they have a great release, they have different styles, but he's just as talented, and I would not be here if Derek Carr was not talented. And it was really like next level crazy to see him. I mean, like, he tried to be nice about it, but Davante straight up dissed Jordan Love. I mean, he straight up said, he was talking to the Packers and he says, I want to do big things.
Where I'm in my career, and this isn't a shot at anybody, any other quarterbacks or, in Green Bay, I love Jordan Love, especially. He's a great guy, but, I got aspirations of doing really, really big things and being remembered. And I just, it just wasn't really a point in my career that I was willing to sacrifice Aaron not being there, after a year or two. So my decision was to be here, and he respected that. He understood that.
Keep in mind, I want to do big things. That's huge to hear. That means that he believes with the Raiders, he's going to do big things. He wants to have a legacy. This guy wants to go in the Hall of Fame, and he believes with the Raiders, he can do those big things. And the slide at Jordan Love was to say, hey, with Jordan Love, if Aaron Rodgers retires in like 2 years, 1 year, I don't think I could do big things with Jordan Love. So that just shows how much he respects Derek Carr. Putting him in the same ballpark in terms of talent and skill set as Aaron Rodgers, and also saying that somebody like Jordan Love is far beneath Derek Carr. And the chemistry is clearly already there between Davante Adams and Derek Carr. Davante confirmed today that they had been throwing 3 times a week for pretty much the whole entire time until the Raiders moved to Vegas officially.
I mean, we got right back to work, just like, and I don't know if I mentioned to you guys when I came here, right after I signed, but we were working out together for the first 6 years of our, NFL career anyway, because we lived right down the street from each other once I moved up to Danville. So, I mean, we were throwing probably 3 times a week for 5-6 years. So had about a 2-year gap when they, the team moved out here. But
he also talked about the coaching staff, Josh McDaniels, what he really likes about him, and also Edgar Bennett in particular.
Josh has a incredible football mind. So just knowing things that he's accomplished, which obviously I'm sure he's talked about, and everybody, that doesn't really have anything to do with this now, but having, that experience like that and having been to the big game, almost 10 times, that means a lot. And, just having that, anytime you can bring somebody in who just knows how to win, that gives you a lot of confidence as an offense. So he was one of the first people I saw when I walked in the building after I signed, and it just put a big smile on my face, man. It was kind of, it added, because I don't know as many players, or I didn't know as many players on this team as, maybe some others when I first got here. So to see a familiar face, a guy who understands what I'm about, he's seen me from literally when I first got in Green Bay. So he's kind of seen the whole progression from young rookie who doesn't know anything to coming in, and, I've kind of established a few things now. So just to be able to work with him again is definitely a blessing.
Now, Edgar Bennett was the wide receiver coach for the Green Bay Packers when Davante Adams was just starting out. And under John Gruden, Edgar Bennett was also the wide receiver coach. And he is the only positional coach, the only coach retained between Gruden's regime and Josh McDaniels' regime. Obviously, there's the strength and conditioning people who are still the same, people like Deuce Gruden. But Edgar Bennett was the position coach who Josh McDaniels chose to keep. So that shows how talented Edgar Bennett is as a wide receiver coach, because he was able to be hired basically by two regimes. Two different head coaches said, you know what, I want that guy. And it's going to be great for us fans to see Davante Adams play, but it's also going to be great for his family, his grandparents to see him play. And it was awesome seeing Davante just appreciate being a Raider and truly look happy to be here.
My grandparents never seen me play in 8 years, so and family is a big part of it for me. So geographically being here, so it makes it a lot easier for me to stay connected to my family year round. You know, I had the choice, and the choice was for me to come here and, you know, raise my family on the West Coast and come out here and have some fun in the sun.
Secondary coach / passing game coordinator Jason Simmons hyped up some of his defensive players.
Man, you know what? Amik is a guy that shows a lot of versatility. You know, we know he's a guy that can move inside, outside, the whole nine. The thing that I've been most impressed about is how receptive he is to coaching. I'm really excited to coach him and the way he's able to take the coaching and then show it on the field. So I'm excited to continue to work with him.
Amik Robertson has shown some versatility playing in both the slot and outside at mandatory minicamp. He also took some first-team reps at mandatory minicamp, and Jason Simmons seems to really like this guy. Amik Robertson has always been doubted because of his size. He is 5'9", I believe. But think about this. While Amik Robertson entered the 2020 draft, leaving Louisiana Tech, PFF rated Amik Robertson as one of the highest graded coverage cornerbacks in PFF history. And Jason Simmons seems to like this guy, and hopefully now can be his time where he really does shine. Simmons also talked about this safety room, saying there's going to be tons of competition there. He talked about Duron Harmon and Johnathan Abram's football IQ.
Well, you know what? The main thing is that you see, and Duron Harmon is really the only one that's playing the system pretty much in the secondary. You know, to see him have the call command. You know what I mean? It's something that you can tell that was preached, something that was emphasized, and that's communication. And you know what? The first thing that comes to mind when you mention it is really his football acumen. Like, I've been really excited to see how much he knows just of the game and understands the game, whether it be formationally, whether it be scheme, picking it up. I mean, that's the first thing that comes to mind. I mean, he is a really bright football player.
Duron Harmon, he admitted, had the most experience with Patrick Graham's scheme out of all the secondary. Every single player in the secondary, he's the only person who's played in Patrick Graham's scheme before, according to Jason Simmons. Now, he said this competition is going to be tough. We know that he likes Johnathan Abram, he likes Duron Harmon, but who's going to play? Who's really going to play?
The first thing when I think about the group is just versatility. You know what I mean? You have so many guys that are so athletic. You know, when you come here, you just realize that you're blessed to have guys that can be used in multiple roles. Everybody can run. You know, everybody can play the run. Everybody can play the pass. People can cover. So we're excited. There's going to be a lot of competition in that room, and they realize it.
Like Simmons said, it's an extremely deep safety room, and you don't want talent to go to waste. You don't want talent to just sit there on the sideline. So no matter who is not the starter, expect them to be utilized. But at the end of the day, especially when you're in the base defense, you're only going to have one starter there at deep safety. So it is going to be a tough positional battle for that strong safety position. Trayvon Merring is obviously penciled in as the starter at free safety, but at strong safety, are we going to see Harmon most of the time or Johnathan Abram? At the end of the day, there could only be one. Polamalu talked about his running back room, Branden Bolden, Josh Jacobs, and Zamir White in particular.
Just unbelievable. Here, I told him the other day, I've never coached, I've coached vets, you know, with this, you know, many years, but a guy that participates in every special teams. I mean, just the unselfishness of that's impressive. Usually when you're coaching a 9-10-year vet, pretty much the main guy. This young man, he comes to work, smart, tough, and he's unselfish. You know, the young man's here, he's learning a new playbook, a new environment. So he's here, determined. You know, we like the way his physicality on film. We had the opportunity to bring him here on our 30 visit and got to know him, and I think that really helped. But he's a solid young man, humble, hard worker, and fits the room well. Yeah, I go back to to, I had the opportunity to evaluate him when he came out. I saw the effort. What I was impressed with was when he came out, he was on special teams at Alabama, kind of like going back to Branden, that showed that unselfishness and the hardworking and how he enjoyed football. And he's still that way.
Obviously, Polamalu is not going to give up any secrets about what he actually thinks about every single player, but expect all these guys to be utilized. But one thing that he did emphasize was Branden Bolden and having his experience there, showing the fact that he's a selfless player despite the fact that he's won Super Bowls. He's been in the league for a long time. So that leads me to believe that Branden Bolden didn't come in here thinking he's going to be any kind of starter or anything like that. And he's comfortable having more of a leadership role and being somebody who could just help the positional group rather than be the #1 back. And Josh Jacobs is a Pro Bowler at the end of the day, and he is the #1 back on this team. There's no way a rookie like Zamir White can compete with that instantly. But this running back room is going to be interesting to look at over time. Will we go cheaper at the position? Will we try to move on from some guys and save some money, clear up cap in that area? That way you can afford some things like Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, and Davante Adams. Think about it. Zamir White is only going to make $950,000 against the cap this year. And hopefully when we're looking at this running back room next year, we're going to look at that contract and say, wow, that's a freaking bargain. Trayvon Merring's press conference was pretty boring, to be completely honest.
I mean, I feel like that's, one thing that I can do, but like I said, I'm gonna keep it plain and simple. Whatever the coaches ask me to do, that's what I'm gonna do. That's kind of...
The dude's playing it smart. He doesn't want to give up too much information. But then one beat reporter had the nerve to ask Trayvon Merring about Jack Del Rio.
Former Raiders coach Jack Del Rio came under fire for a tweet that he put out, apologized yesterday, comparing the issue at the Capitol to the civil unrest. I'm just curious if you had any thoughts on that or any comment, if there's a rippling effect from D.C. all the way to Las Vegas.
To be honest with you, I've been training. I haven't really been keeping up with that, looking too far into the media, so I don't really have anything to say on that. I've just been working.
Jack Del Rio is under fire for some tweets that he made. He was asked about it in a press conference. We're not going to get into any of that shit because this is the Raiders and he is on the Washington Commanders. Trayvon Merring did not even play under Jack Del Rio. He was not even on this team yet. And neither did Davante Adams, and this reporter had the nerve to ask him about Del Rio too.
No, I don't have any comments or thoughts. I've been just burying my face in this playbook, man. Just really, and that's not to, I wish I had something spicier for you, but I haven't paid it. Honestly, I don't even know what you're talking about right now. And that may be bad awareness on my part, but I just been diving in this book and trying to enjoy every day here with these guys so far.
So I don't understand why this reporter is trying to spread some toxic bullshit to our team. We don't have any reason to comment on this. None of these people were employed by the Raiders while Del Rio was employed by the Raiders, and Del Rio is no longer the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. This reporter is trying to get these players caught up in some shit and choose sides on whatever internet battle is going on right now. And honestly, it's a bunch of toxic bullshit, and he should be ashamed of himself. If you can't sit there and think of a good question for Trayvon Merring about his history, about his career, about his teammates, then get the hell out of the press conference room. You don't deserve to be there. And the Raiders, if you need somebody there who actually knows how to ask a question about a player's history and not some toxic bullshit, call WiFiWillie. I'm just kidding. I can't afford the gas money to get there anyway. But in conclusion, I'm excited about this team. I'm excited to see what Derek Carr can do with Davante. How can he prove all the haters wrong? Keep in mind, even people who claim to like Derek Carr, people like Colin Cowherd and Keyshawn Johnson, are still going to sit there and say he's the worst quarterback in our division. And I think that's complete BS. I think he has the shot to be the best quarterback in the division, and now he has the tools to do it. He's got a defense that has a ton of depth. He has a really good head coach who's a good offensive mind, and he has weapons all around him. So if he doesn't get it done this year, there's going to be some question marks around Derek Carr, but I have full confidence he's going to get it done this year and prove all the haters wrong. Hey, like this video if you watched it all the way through. Subscribe to this channel for more Raiders content. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.